now the official partner series to the BSB. This is Cool Fab Racing.
Hello and welcome back to the afternoon's live race coverage of round 4 of the 2017 Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bikes Championship. Myself, Lester, and Dan Marr is your commentators for this afternoon, and we've got an absolutely brilliant lineup of racing starting in just a few seconds with the third and final race of this weekend of the AC40 Rookies. We are live right now on Facebook. Do check us out, facebook.com/CoolFab Racing, and of course we are streaming live radio and live commentary all weekend in beautiful, glorious stereo sound on coolfabracing.com, amongst other places. And you can also go back and listen to your races, if you so care, as a podcast. You can check out the iTunes podcast store and search Cool Fab Racing, download your particular race, and you can enjoy your success all over again. Dan Marr, commentator for this afternoon, joins us. Dan, we've had lunch and we're back, and we're looking forward to another thrilling set of final races.
Well, good afternoon, Lester. Good afternoon to everyone listening here trackside and also listening at home on Facebook and our website coolfabracing.com. And it's going to be an absolutely fantastic set of races this afternoon. We've got the AC40 Rookies out now, but we've got the Mini GP 50s, the Senior Mini Motos, Junior LC40s, Pit Bike 140/Moto teams, Mini GP 70s, Pit Bike Opens, AC40 Pros, and sidecars to race one more time this weekend. And the AC40 Rookies are out now, and it will be Luca Hopkins who starts on pole position for this final race, ahead of Harrison Crosby and Kyle Payne. James Rose Jr. will start in 4th, 5th is Harrison Desoy, Orlando Phillips is 6th, 7th and 8th is Sullivan Mounsey and Jamie Woodcock, Ben Jolliffe, I believe, Clayton Edmonds is 9th and 10th, 11th and 12th is Monty Amer and Ethan Sparks, Alfie Davidson and Ronald Harris is 13th and 14th, 15th and 16th is Saffron Motley and Lucas Brown, 17th Alessandro Valente and Jacob Stevenson, Elliot Jones and Mike Brady are 20th and 19th respectively, and 21st Jada Howe, 22nd Joshua Kirch. And it was a very well timed bed as we are about to get underway for the final AC40 Rookie race of the weekend. Now, as they come up towards the grid, they'll be lining up in just a few moments. We've still got some strugglers coming through the last couple of corners at turns 7 and 8. If you're watching on Facebook, you'll be able to see our lovely and wonderful pictures where we can see a good half of the circuit. If you're joining us here trackside, then do enjoy the lovely, wonderful sunny weather we've got for the next few hours of action. Now, we were running early this morning, so do not be alarmed if we give you some provisional times and it all happens to be a bit quicker, because obviously we can get a very quick turnaround here at Tattershall for round 4 of the Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bike Championship. The AC40 Rookies are about to take the green flag, and those last minute nerves can surely be felt by these young riders. The green flag, we have a flag, we don't start with lights, we start with flags. Waiting just a second. There we go. So green flag goes up and drops almost instantly as well. That's a decent start there by Luca Hopkins up towards turn 1 for the first time in this race, and he does enough to take the lead there. But it looks like Harrison Crosby could well keep second place as they come through turns 2 and 3 for the first time. Our field of 22 riders, and it's looking really good. As look at that, I think Harrison Crosby's gone on the inside to take the lead coming into turn 3 for the first time. So certainly we're going to have a great little battle on our hands, and all of a sudden it looks like Luca Hopkins could lose out even more positions as they go through turns 4 and 5 and indeed 6. The 3 hairpins all intertwined. You go right, then you go left, then right, then left again. A much longer left hander is what brings us through coming up towards turn number 7 and 8. The smaller the right handers, and then the final corner, turn 9, is where we have a very long corner which can help you get a good slipstream and a really good run into turn 1. Over the line we go then, and Harrison Crosby takes the race lead ahead of Luca Hopkins and Kyle Payne. James Rose Jr. drops down to 4th. Harrison Desoy, Sullivan Mounsey, Orlando Phillips are up into 6th and 7th. Alfie Davidson 8th, 9th is Jamie Woodcock, and 10th is Ben Jolliffe.
Fantastic start, yes, Dan. It's been a brilliant to see all of these AC40 rookies on track and fighting cleanly, and there's some action happening, or potential action, for second position between Luke Hopkins and Kyle Payne. Not sure if they switched positions there as I just glanced up and saw some, maybe it was side by side, in fact, yes, for second position. Cannot see exactly from this particular angle.
Didn't quite work out there for Kyle Payne. So who stays in third place?
And someone pulling off to the infield who's frustrated with his bike.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to restart his bike. Meanwhile, as they come up towards the line, and it is Harrison Crosby in the lead ahead of Luca Hopkins and Kyle Payne. Lap 3, or lap 2 now, out of 7. It's an 8-lap race, so we've only got 7 left to go. Short and sweet is what the racing is here, is like, and there's been a big breakaway of the top 3 compared to everyone else. James Rose Jr. holding up a good 4 or 5 bikes coming in towards turn number 4, the left-hander. It's looking like a great race. Of course, we saw Kyle Payne, who's currently sits in third. He was the winner of the second race here today. Harrison Crosby finished in second, and Orlando Phillips finished in third. Now Orlando's currently down in 7th place, so to get a similar kind of result as he had earlier, he will definitely want to get a bit of speed up so he can catch up to this pack of the train, as there's 3 bikes which have just sort of moved away into the lead. In fact, the lead group are only separated by 6/10 of a second, but they're around about 2.4 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. Now Luca Hopkins just setting fastest lap, 55.6.
Yes, sir, sorry to interrupt. Yeah, Harrison Crosby having a bit of a bumpy getaway out of turn 1 on the edges of the track. It didn't affect his speed and performance, as he is still out in front, but yeah, fascinating fight up front, and the chasing battle before ultimately 4th place between 5 riders. Epic stuff.
It is some great racing we're seeing here so far. Meanwhile, Kyle Payne and Luca Hopkins are doing absolutely everything to go side by side, almost on the exit of turn 7. Didn't quite work out there, I'm afraid. But the battle for 4th place is the one which is looking the biggest, exponentially, with the most amount of riders, and how competitive it is. You can see just going through there was, I think that was sort of a Mountie who just came through. They'll come over the line now. So 4th place will be sort of a Mountie. So there we go. Did go then into 4th place. Down a position there for James Rose Jr. Orlando Phillips up to 6th. Down to 7th, though, is Harrison Desoy. Jeremy Woodcock has had some kind of issue somewhere, I think, actually, because
I think there was a position change further down the order, and that chasing pack that are fighting for 4th position. We'll see as they come across the line for the next time round, as the timing sorts itself out. But yes, the front 3 are sort of negotiating traffic, I would say, at the moment, and they do so brilliantly. And this epic fight now for 4th place, Dan.
But 2nd place looked very close there, coming out of turn number 7. What the issue was, well, obviously they caught the traffic at just the wrong point, side by side between Luca and Kyle in 2nd and 3rd. That hasn't ultimately changed anything, but it was significant in terms of intent for what was going on. Over the line they go, and as you said, that change of position early on in the lap, Alfie Davidson is the person who moved up into 7th place ahead of Harrison Desoy. So with half the race done so far,
and this chasing pack is probably the one to watch at the moment, because lots of riders swapping and chopping and changing positions seemingly at every turn, and it's hard to keep one eye on one pack while you've got the leaders, three pack of leaders fighting it out for ultimately the podium positions.
It's an interesting one, as you say, to have to watch so many great battles, but the one for 4th place, especially in this race, the 3rd race of the weekend, their final race, has been nothing short of brilliant so far. Over the line our race leaders go, again navigating through traffic. It's slowing them up ever so slightly. The battle for 4th isn't really changing. It's still Harrison Desoy and Ethan Sparks have now made their way through on Alfie Davidson, so it's an interesting one. You lose even just a little bit of momentum, and that can cost you a significant amount of time. So we've got someone stopped up at turn number 4 again, who's trying to restart the bike. Does get on the way, but there's a yellow flag coming into turn number 4, which can limit some of the moves being made. And again, you're getting to the point now where you're intermingling with traffic as well as intermingling with people have gone off, and it looks like there's that battle for 4th place, almost
riders.
3 wide, 8 riders now, and as you say, a few people just dropping back ever so slightly, having to lift off for the yellows.
I think some might actually be back markers, I think, but still, nonetheless, it's titanic.
You're getting it's interesting, as you say, you're getting confused with those in the different positions, and it makes it difficult for a rider to really understand the intent and understand what's going on. You just think, I've got to get past everyone, haven't I? So over the line they go, 2 laps to go then, and it is Harrison Crosby in the lead by barely 0.3 of a second. It's 0.259 up towards turns 2 and 3. And Leslie, you've noticed something. Go on.
Yeah, the closing pace of the Luca Hopkins, Kyle Payne on Harrison Crosby is seemingly now closer than ever as they all negotiate their way round lapped traffic. That might help ease things for the current leader Harrison Crosby, but still just over 1 lap left to go.
And I think there could have been a change that was made though, indeed, for second position, because I saw...
Oh, and two riders down in an incident, back up on their feet, and...
that's 1, 4, 6. That could be Clayton Edmonds I've seen there. Over the line, and in fact I was correct. Kyle Payne now up into second position. He's only 0.122 behind Harrison Crosby, so he must be thinking of making a move on what is the final lap of the race. Yellow flags at turn number 4. This is the last lap then, and as they come up, Kyle Payne now in second place. Can he do enough as he comes into turn 3 to try and force a different change? Can he make it through? They go side by side coming into turn 4. They nearly make contact through the left hand of the hairpin up towards the right-handed hairpin. Again, it's going to be a late move up the inside towards the apex. Can't quite do it. It's quite twisty. You've got to be quite patient through here. Just 3 corners left to go through the hairpin and onto turn 7. The much longer left-hander. You've only got the right-hander corners now, so you're going to have to really think of making a move. Going to cut back here. Can work exponentially well. He goes a little bit deep. He's not quite going to do it for the race lead, but surely he's going to hold on to second. It's going to be Harrison Crosby who takes the victory by, 0.288 of a second ahead of Kyle Payne and Luca Hopkins. What a fantastic battle. In the end, Sullivan Mounsey took the 4th place ahead of James Rose Jr. Orlando Phillips and Ethan Sparks in 7th. 8th place was Harrison Dessoy. Alfie Davidson was in 9th, and 10th was Ben Jolliffe. Roland Harris will be due to come over and down into 11th place. 12th place will be Clayton Edmonds, as we're waiting for people to come over the line now. So it will be Clayton Edmonds in 12th. 13th place for Monty Amer. Lucas Brown in 14th. In fact, let's try that again. 13th for Monty Amer, 14th for Saffron Watley, Lucas Brown 15th, Jamie Woodcock 16th, 17th for Warwick Brady, 18th for Joshua Kirch, Jacob Stevenson took 19th, 20th for Jada Howe, and then 21st will be Elliot Jones, and Alessandro Valente only completed 4 laps. So what a great way to start off this afternoon's racing, our final set of races for this weekend's Cool Fab Racing Round 4 here at Tattershall of the 2017 British Minibike Championship, and the AC40 rookies really kicking it off in style.
We're now the official partner series to the BSB. This is Cool Fab Racing.
Thank you very much, Dan Marr, for calling a brilliant race, by all accounts, with lots of epic action, I would say, and that would be absolutely fantastic indeed. Yes, all the cliches there, but yeah, it was. It's supposing that it's what we come to expect from these Cool Fab Racing events, because they are fantastic and we always get some fantastic riders, and let's face it, after all, these are the future stars of BSB and MotoGP, and we are watching the future world champions on track fighting each other brilliantly. I have no doubt about that. Thank you very much to everyone who is tuned in live to our online radio stream right now on coolfabracing.com, and to our live Facebook feed as well, which we have a modest little camera positioned overlooking the second half of the circuit, which just complements the visual radio, really. That's what we're calling it, visual radio. And live timing is up online as well, so you can literally see everything that the commentators can see here this weekend, and that's what we will read out is what's on timing. So on track now and about to get underway with their green flag lap. It is the final race this weekend in the Mini GP50s. Dan Marr is once again here with us, filling in for Alex Raby, who is unfortunately off ill this weekend, which is unfortunate, and we wish him the very speediest of recoveries. But I'm sure he's at home listening to this and what will be another fantastic Mini GP50. Brilliantly called by Dan Marr.
Thank you very much, Lester Forbes, as Lester will be joining me throughout the afternoon to fill in and help point out the things that I just happen to not notice, because that's my expertise apparently. Anyway, so let's not talk about my commentary and let's talk about the racing instead. So the third race for the Mini GP50s, two brilliant races here this weekend, and I've really enjoyed both of the races. Of course, let's go back and have a look at the results from earlier on. I'll have a bit of a dig for that, but let's look also now at the starting grid then. So it will be Casey O'Gorman who will be starting on pole position, the number 7 ahead of the number 52 Evan Belford. Bailey Stewart Campbell will be starting ahead of Corey Stainer on row 2, row 3 Jaden Suma and Holly Harris. Thomas Gomes and Finn Smart on row 4, row 5 Sean Abel and Dylan Miller. Mason Johnson and Karis Jones are on row 6, row 7 Elliot Crosby and Sandy Horn, and Ben Smith will be 15th, starting at the back. As we go on to our green flag lap, and we have a quick look, it is much brighter than it's been, I think, most of the weekend, Lester Forbes. So do you think that'll pose much of a different challenge for the riders in terms of the light that they've got to put up with when battling away?
It's probably more to do with, and this is my many vast years of mini bike racing experience, of which I actually don't have. But I would probably say, just like most motorsports, the hot track temperatures will make things overall better and faster, and that's no bad thing at all.
Exactly. So thank you very much, Lester. We'll be hearing from him throughout the course of the race to help provide us with a little bit more insight. But as they come up towards the grid now, it will be Casey O'Gorman who will be starting on pole position once again. And 12 racing laps here at Tattershall in Lincolnshire for round 4 of the Cool FAB-Racing British Mini Bike Championship, the Mini GP50s, about to take to the grid as they do now. The flag marshal waiting for everyone to take their spots, and as they just slowly pull in, we will get underway in just a few moments time. So the rest of the grid, the stragglers then getting back into position, and as we are about to make our way up towards the grid then, everyone moving away from the start line. Our flag marshal getting ready to go green, and the green flag is about to be readied. It goes, being held up. Up goes the flag now, and a few people with a lot of creeping here, and there we go. Going to push some of the bikes back ever so slightly again. Creeping can always be an issue. Green flag's now up, drops it very quickly indeed. Decent start by Casey O'Gorman up towards turn 1. As normal, it just seems like he'll be able to take the position. Yes, he does. So therefore, everyone's got through turn 1 cleanly. Turns 2 and 3, the left and then the right. All the marshals running back really quickly to get back to their spots on track to make sure everyone is righted correctly. So up towards turn 4 for the first time, and Casey O'Gorman has pulled out a brilliant lead of a good 3 or 4 lengths already, which says quite a lot about half a lap. We've got 12 laps to see what exactly is going to be happening. So as they make their way through turn 7 up towards turn 8 for the first time, let's not look at the lead. The battle for third place is looking very interesting indeed as they come through turn 8. The first of the right-handers for the first time, and over the line, and there you go, Casey O'Gorman in the lead ahead of Corey Stainer. Evan Belford is in third. Fourth is Bailey Stewart Campbell. Fifth place will be Holly Harris. Finn Smart will be 6th. 7th place for Jaden Suma. Sean Abel is in 8th. 9th for Sandy Horn. Thomas Gomes in 10th. 11th is Dylan Miller. 12th Elliot Crosby. 13th Mason Johnson. Karis Jones in 14th, and 15th is Ben Smith. Meanwhile, the battle for as we see Ben Smith just coming over the line now, did seem to be struggling as he left the line. Anyway, so the battle for third place looking very interesting between Evan Belford and Bailey Stewart Campbell. Of course, we saw Evan had a good start to the second race before falling off the road, so The only issue we had there is, of course, that he fell off the road and couldn't really carried on and did make his way through the field, as we can see. Could that be a move by Bailey? Stuart Campbell going up the inside, going into turn 1 on lap 2. Yes, it is. Is he going to emerge ahead? Yes, he does as well. So Bailey now up into 3rd place by turn 1. Great move up the inside, and therefore the Evan Belford moves off the podium now. Looking a little bit further back, there's some interesting goings on with, I believe, that is 6th, 7th, 8th place between Sean Abel and Tom Gomes, which was very close over the line. In fact, only 0.166 over the line. So 8th place battle. He did move up into 9th on that last lap. So Thomas Gomes is looking very quick indeed. Up towards the line they go now. And there we go then. Confirmation that Bailey Stuart Campbell is now into 3rd place. Coming over the line though, there's a big gaggle of bikes rather. I do apologise, I'm in the wrong mode again, aren't I? Up towards turn number 1, and we are seeing 9th place downwards having a very nice little battle indeed. That's headed currently by Sean Abel in 9th place, but Sandy Horn, Dylan Miller, Elliot Crosby, Mason Johnson and Karis Jones are all behind them. So as we make our way through turn 3 and 4, it's a very tight left-hander, which then goes into a very tight right-hander, which then goes into a slightly looser but still very tight right-hander. Once again, we've got someone stopped out circuit. I have a funny feeling that's Ben Smith, the number 30, stopped out on circuit. He was having issues earlier on. He's to rider's left-hand side, so they're going to have to be cautious as they go through the right-hand side, going through the corner up towards turn number 8. Over the line they go now, and there we go then. It's still 9th place, but now the battle has really emerged to be 10th place and downwards. So Sean Abel dropping back, but it's more Sandy Horn which is being the cork in the bottle now. Up towards turn 2 and 3 once again, we can see first the left, then the much longer right, but you got to brake as you're turning in. It's such a deceptively tight corner. Also an interesting battle going on for, that's not going to be, I think that's 5th place we can see coming up towards 7th and 8th place. I do apologise. It was 106 and 98. So that's Jaden Toomer and Thomas Gomes as they come up towards turn 8 now, sitting in the tow of one another. Meanwhile, as we say, that battle for 10th place, side by side again with Sandy Horn and Dylan Miller. I think the position will have reversed. It's almost inevitable that it did. They went side by side coming on the exit of turn number 7. We get the confirmation over the line, and in fact that made me a liar because obviously it's not changed. Never mind, eh? It's a great battle nonetheless. We can see coming into turn 1, going very deep there is Sandy Horn. So as they came through there, you've got to be quite patient, you've got to be quite cautious obviously, as the issue is if you defend too hard you're going to lose a lot of time and then lose more position due to that. But if you don't really look at it, you've got that worrying thing of being attacked from any odd angle. And we've got another, I think that is the same bike early on which had slowed down and stopped. Still Ben Smith up at turn number 7. And as we come now, let's have a recap then. 5 laps completed. Casey O'Gorman 8.5 seconds the lead ahead of Corey Stainer and Bailey Stuart Campbell. Evan Belford in 4th place. 5th place is currently Holly Harris, Finn Smart, Jaden Toomer, Thomas Gomes, Sean Abel, Sandy Horn, Dylan Miller, Elliot Crosby, Mason Johnson and Karis Jones is your order on the 5th lap, and that's a 12 lap race. Therefore, we have 7 laps to go. So Casey O'Gorman comes through to make the half distance, and it is quite a fascinating little race. Again, we've got a great move for position around the outside coming into turn number 6. What a great move there by Thomas Gomes, who was on rider's right hand side. Just it looked like Jaden Toomer broke much earlier than Thomas could. He just dove around the outside, drove straight around the outside. Job done. Fantastic move.
Fantastic stuff, thank you very much, Dan Marr. Yes, it's been a fantastic race so far in the GP50s with just over 5 laps to go, and lots of action yet to happen, Dan.
And of course we've also seemed to have lost Finn Smart, who's dropped down 2 positions to 8th place. We got a...
There is a rider that
yes, that is Ben Smart, who's been off there for some time, been mentioned a few times.
I was paying attention, honestly.
You were, no, of course. But irregardless of that, it is an interesting one, as you say, because there's some great battling going out throughout the entirety of the field. These bikes providing a really good spectacle here at Tattershall. And whilst we get attacked by a box, we're going to carry on with this race. So, up towards turn number 8, I can see a good three bike battle. I keep doing that. I don't know why. I'm going in the wrong mode today.
They're bikes, Daniel.
I know. There's many less wheels, but you think I know this by now. Anyway, let's just never mind that. Mason Johnson has moved up into 12th place now. They were very close over the line between himself and Dylan Mellor.
Oh!
And what's happened there?
Someone's got straight on crash.
Someone's got straight on down at turn 1. We can't see what's happened here.
Who that was.
So we haven't seen what's happened here. There's waving going on. So something has happened here. And a red flag has been called. A red flag has been called due to an incident going straight on at turn 1. We didn't see what happened, so we can't speculate on what's happened. So we will let you know as soon as we get more information. But a red flag has been called.
Yeah, that's first red flag of the day during the race, and of course we will keep you up to date with all the developments. And thank you, incidentally, to everyone who's been in touch with us on our live Facebook stream. And yes, thank you very much to everyone who's indeed shared the live Facebook stream as well. To Sarah Morgan and Jenny Darter, who's been cheering on Casey, and to Claire Abel, who's said well done to Sean, number 330. That will be Sean Abel and Jenny Darter and Sarah Morgan, and other people who've tuned in, amongst other people, but not limited to, are Neil Banham, Brian Miller, Julie Cunliffe, Ziggy Archer's back, he's tuned in apparently, Tony Patterson and Keith Potter. And yeah, we certainly would love to see and read your messages. And it's at Cool Fab Racing on Twitter, it's Cool Fab Racing on Facebook, and we have news from Race Control regarding the Mini GP 50 race that is currently red flag. Dan.
And it has just been called, the result has just been called, which means Casey O'Gorman has won the third race here, so that's 2 wins in the day for the class. Corey Stainer taking second place, Bailey Stewart Campbell in third, and that will be your top 3 for that race. The next one that will be out will be the senior mini motos. Of course, we're running 7 minutes early at the moment, but obviously due to this red flag scenario, we don't know when we will be getting underway, so we will leave Race Control to let us know what is going on. But in the meantime, I will leave you with the wonderful Lester Forbes, who's much better at filling time than I am.
Thank you, Dan. Yes, we will look forward to the resumption of racing, and any news on as and when that will be, we will bring it to you very shortly. Do stay tuned to Cool Fab Racing live on the PA, and the speakers today are very good. Yes, we've had some wonderful comments coming in saying our speakers are buzzing, so thank you very much. That's right, so we will be back in just a moment.
We're now the official partner series to the BSB. This is Cool Fab Racing. the Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bikes Championship, the official partner series to the BSB.
And we're back racing on track. This next race is going to be the what are we on the schedule? Senior Mini Motos. Next out on track, Dan Marr, commentator, is still here alongside us, and we've enjoyed a fantastic couple of races so far this afternoon. Loads more still to come. Junior LC40s coming up soon, and Pit Bike 140 and Moto Team categories follow that. Mini GP 70s are approximately at 3:30, but if we're running ahead, then we'll run ahead. Pit Bike Open after that, followed by the AC40 Pro, and finishing the day with the Mini F1 sidecars, and out on track right now, about to start their green flag lap. It is race number 3, the final race for the Senior Mini Motos, called by Dan Marr.
Thank you very much, Lester Forbes. And the incident which had just happened in that race has just been cleared up, so we are given the green flag then to go on to the green flag lap for the Senior Mini Motos, their final race of the weekend. And of course it will be Ryan Grant, he will start on pole position ahead of Matt Birkin, Andy Whedon and Jamie King. Row 2. Row 3 is Mark Payne and Justin Bainbridge. Row 4 is Josh Darter and William Birkin. Row 5, Paul Nicholls and Chris Yeomans. And row 6 and last is Ross Michael. We've had drama already. We've got one rider who's pulled off on the entrance of turn number 2 on rider's left hand side. Oh goodness, we're having all kinds of drama here. So let's see. We can't see who that is, and we're not going to know until we cross the beam, obviously, which comes up towards the start line. But that might not necessarily tell us. So
could be anything. Could be chain related or something.
Yeah. If he's fiddling with something down that side of the engine, then I imagine it could be, as you say, maybe a chain issue. But as they come,
he's certainly not going to start the race, and he shouldn't be in that.
No. And as you say, race control will be looking at that and deciding to move the bike, see if they can get it going or just take it back to the pit, back into the paddock. So they'll do everything they can to make sure it's out of the way. And now they are pretty much claiming it. They'll hold them on the grid until it's in a safe place. Once they are confident in it being in a safe place, we'll get underway. So, race 3 for the Senior Mini Motos will be getting underway in just a moment's time. Just as our rider, Mark Payne, has got a green light next to him on the timing screen, so it could potentially be the man who starts in 5th place. And they put the flag down now, so as they make their way up towards turn 1 for the first time, they have got underway, and Ryan Grant will be the one in the lead. Second place, though, is looking much more interesting. Could it be Matt Birkin or Andy Whedon as they come through turns 2 and 3 for the first time? All line astern, looking absolutely fantastic. We've got another one pulling straight off into the paddock as well. So we've lost 2 in the space of, 2 minutes? It's an 8-lap race here, of course, so it's looking very interesting. But as you say, Ryan Grant is the man in the lead, coming up towards turns 6 for the first time. Great run from him today. Can we finally see a really good result for him up towards turn number 8? And we've had another person who's dropped it on the exit of the entrance to turn number 7. Meanwhile, coming over the line, they're back on the bike and they're moving perfectly fine. So it's Ryan Grant who will come over the line to lead ahead of Josh Darter, Justin Bainbridge, Matt Birkin, Mark Payne, Paul Nicholls, William Birkin, Ross Michael. It was Andy Whedon, I think Chris Yeomans is the person who stuck up at turn 7, and Andy Whedon was the person, I think, who's into the pit lane. So we have had a bit of an interesting race now. Anyway, still can't get that bike restarted, whatever's going on, but the battle for third place, Leicester, as you were calling it.
Yeah, I'm keeping my eye on this fantastic scrap for the lead, and they're about to come up too. If he didn't get a move on the back marker who had a problem, who's now got going again. But yes, fantastic stuff. Already positions,
and it was Chris Yeoman
up at the leader, coming around the start-finish straight right now. What might happen into turn 1?
A big gaggle of riders up towards turn number 1. Paul Nicholls somehow got the fastest lap despite being at the back of that pack. It's a 6 or 7 rider as we got someone else coming over the line then. Not sure who that is, but that didn't sound particularly healthy at all. So, as we can see, what a great battle for the race lead we've got between Ryan Grant and Matt Birkin, trying to go around the outside, coming into turn number 4, and he'd already made the move as he came into turn number 4. So, through the right, through the left, through the right, and through the left again. It's a very tricky, winding section of circuit. They almost go side by side, but I believe it will be Matt Birkin we see in the lead as they come through the final corner to start lap number 2, which means we'll only have 6 laps left to go already. Can you believe it? Lester Forbes.
And there's epic stuff happening. Fight for second position. He's in the right place. It was Bainbridge about to make his move. Did he manage to pull that one off?
Justin Bainbridge in third place coming over the line. I suspect he has.
He was having a good look down the inside of Birkin, but unfortunately turn 1 is the only blind spot of the entire track that we have here in the commentary box.
Indeed. So around the outside tries to go Matt Birkin, as you say, on Ryan Grant.
And they're all catching the
Chris Yeomans. It's Chris Yeomans, and he sensibly gets out of the way of the race leaders. And look at this, almost side by side, almost contact coming through turn number 7 between Grant and Birkin. It's a fantastic battle they've got on so far. So as they come over the line now, less back marker, and up towards the line, can Birkin finally make his move? He tries to go up the inside coming into turn number 1. And yes, he does. He's unleashed. He finally manages to make that move. And that will be good enough for him to carry on, make a successful move there. Meanwhile, coming through turns number 3 and 4. It's an interesting race we've got so far. 3 laps completed, and it is Matt Birkin, and according to my timing screen, is in the lead of the race ahead of Ryan Grant. Justin Bainbridge, Josh Darter is in 4th. Mark Payne, Paul Nicholls and Ross Michaels up to 7th. Chris Yeomans is down in 8th. 9th is William Birkin in 55. And number 10 is Andy Whedon, who didn't actually get to start the race, which is a shame really. He was having an interesting race earlier on today, wasn't he? So we'll just have to contend. And it is still a fantastic race going on over the line, side by side, between 16 and Bainbridge. So that's Grant, who's lost 2 positions now. Matt Birkin fastest lap on that lap, 51.628. And Justin Bainbridge has now made it up into 2nd position. So Ryan Grant, after having a good lead for a little while, has really dropped back a good couple of positions now, Lester.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he can certainly hang on to the position that he lost, and maybe even make it back up. And the interesting fight is for 3rd place, certainly, as the top 2 now just stretching the lead, really. And it's going to be really, really close as we go into the final 3 or so laps.
We do indeed, and as you say, over the line now, which will start the 3 laps to go. Matt Birkin in the lead. Ryan Grant has managed to get past. In fact, Ryan Grant, Josh Darter, Mark Payne, Paul Nicholls have all managed to get past Justin Bainbridge, who did seem like he was going slowly through the latter stages of that last lap. I believe he's come over the line now, so we have had him through, but he's really a bit of a struggle there. Meanwhile, battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th between Ryan Grant, Josh Darter and Mark Payne, looking very close. They're covered by less than 4/10 of a second. Coming through turn number 5, the right-hander. They almost go side by side, and as a result, we are really having to watch the exciting racing which is happening, coming through turn 6 and turn 7. Not quite side by side. He's going to try and nose his way up the inside. Could not work coming through turn number 7. That's the issue sometimes. You might have a great run, but if you just get squeezed out, you're not going to be able to get that chance, are you? 2 laps to go though.
Certainly, yes. Ryan Grant in 2nd place at this moment in time, and Birkin really doing well to stay out in front. He's looking pretty solid out there. He's looking comfortable.
And of course, Mark Payne now up into 3rd place, so he will be enjoying a spot on the podium. Meanwhile, coming down into turn 4 once again, some good moves being made here. Again, you can't quite nudge your way through on the inside. Tries to get around the outside. Ryan Grant is defending very nicely indeed, although going deep, going on the exit of turn 6 didn't quite work for him. So luckily he manages to keep the position, although I suspect with just a 1 lap to go, then the final lap flag is out. Over the line comes Matt Birkin, but Ryan Grant still in second. Mark Payne, Josh Darter and Paul Nicholls all line astern, trying to make their way up on the inside, coming into turn 1. Can't quite defend it there. He's still got the position. 18 versus 16. 16's ahead, 18's behind. Coming through his turns 2 and 3. He's now got to defend from Josh Darter as well as attack on Ryan Grant. So coming through turn number 4, can he go to the outside line or throw it up the inside? Coming into the first of the left-handers, nope, he doesn't. So he has to really contend with it. He's going to have to be patient because a mistake might be made. We'll come back to them in just a moment because the race leaders are about to take the flag. Coming over the line, Matt Birkin, a great win for him. And as he comes over the line now, Matt Birkin will take it. What a victory. Great one for him, and in fact, yes, so a great win there for Matt Birkin. And eventually Ryan Grant does manage to keep onto it ahead of Mark Payne and Josh Darter. Paul Nicholls in 5th. 6th place will be Justin Bainbridge. Ross Michael will be in 7th. 8th, Chris Oman. Of course, a couple of laps down. William Birkin in 9th, and 10th is Andy Whedon.
Thank you very much, Dan Marr, calling a senior Minimoto race for the final time this weekend, and that was not bad. It was pretty good, actually. Good race all round, and some pretty solid riding, and we'll see a lot more throughout this afternoon. Junior LC40s out on track next for their final race, followed by the Pit Bike 140 and Moto Team race. This is Cool Fab Racing. My name is Lester. Dan Marr is here in the commentary box. And we're wishing Alex Raby, our usual commentator, all the very best and to get well soon.
It is... Go, go, go! This is the Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bikes Championship.
Getting ready for our next race, which is the third and final race of the Junior LC40, which you will be able to see a good chunk of through our Facebook live stream this afternoon, which is currently live on Facebook. It's facebook.com/coolfabracing. We've a modest, lovely little camera positioned in a strategic part of the track which covers about most of it, and it really just complements the live radio feed, and we're calling it visual radio because it's just a visual to the radio. You get the idea. Dan Marr is commentating on this brilliant race, which I'm sure it will be brilliant. Dan, what's the grid?
So the grid for the final Junior LC40 race of the weekend, another 8-lap race, and it sees Casey O'Gorman starting on pole position ahead of Evan Belford. Ollie Walker and Emmanuel Brinton will be starting on row 2. Row 3 will be Ross Maguire and Josh Bannister. Row 4 is Taylor Lawrence and Ryan Hitchcock. Row 5 is Declan Connell and Bailey Stewart Campbell. Row 6 is James Cook and Johnny Garnis. Row 7 is Mason Foster and Jack Kirch. Row 8 is Troy Jeffrey and Sandy Horn. Row 9 is Taylor Stewart Campbell and Evan Pendrell. And row 10, 19th place, is Elliot Dufton. So as we are currently getting ready for the green flag lap, everyone getting into position, make sure they're in the right grid markings, and just making sure everything is spick and span ready for the race. Another 8-lap race, as I say. So this one was due to start accordingly at 2:55. So for those of you who have tuned in early, to make sure you get here in plenty of time, well, you made it just in time
Yeah, we've done very well to keep the schedule going.
Yes, it's been a fantastic organisation this weekend, and I'd just like to extend my thanks to all of the marshals as we go on to the green flag lap. Thank you to all of the marshals, here this weekend, as well as all of the timekeepers, all of the people who help us run these races. So what we'll do is, in between races as well, we've got some points situations to discuss as well. That's another interesting thing to add into the mix, and we'll talk about those shortly. But first, we have an interesting race now for the Junior LC40s, and this will be another fantastic race. I'm certainly looking forward to it. Lester Forbes, what say you?
I say this is going to be absolutely fantastic. Yes, indeed, and it's a tremendous prospect to see so many riders and so many bikes in action, all thundering around this beautiful, sunny, laden Tattershall circuit in Lincolnshire, and let's just all hope for a fantastic display of fantastic riding from these fantastic young riders.
Well, they line up coming up towards the grid then for their final race of the weekend, and Casey Gorman and Evan Belford going to enjoy another couple of races. Do you think they'll be having a good one? I certainly expect they are. What say you guys in the banks and at home listening on at Cool Fab Racing on Twitter and on Facebook? Do get in touch, do let us know how you're enjoying today, how you're enjoying the weather, how you're enjoying everything. So all the marshals out of the way, the flag marshal walks back to his position, and as he gets the green flag ready, patiently waiting, you don't want to get too much slip. Green flag goes up, holding it, drops it now. Good start by Casey O'Gorman. Dropping back though is Evan Belford, so I suspect he might lose actually second or third. So as they come up towards turns 2 for the first time, 2 and 3, through the left, through the right, great lead again by Casey. We've been seeing this all weekend, that Casey, he'll just take pole position, then he'll just check out. I don't expect we'll see much or hear much of him over the next 8 laps, but for the rest of them, they've all got a job to do to try and score as many points as possible. Of course, points mean prizes, obviously, so you've got to do the best that you can. And coming through turns 6 now for the first time, everyone has had a clean start, and we've got a great battle going on for third place, and in fact it changes just at the second last corner. They are going to go side by side though, so do watch this. This is going to be extremely tight over the line, and as they currently go through now, what a great start then from Casey O'Gorman as they make our way up towards the turns 2 and 3 for the first time. Obviously, first place properly checked out, second place properly checked out, third place though is a great battle. It looks to be 3 riders so far, almost go side by side coming into turn 4. A little nose at the inside, you can't afford to be complacent in this kind of racing. It's short bursts, and as they make their way up towards 22 now at the inside, which of course is Ross Maguire, who's making a move up the inside coming into turn number 5. So over the line they come now. Casey O'Gorman makes the best possible getaway, and look at that, he's got a massive gap. Meanwhile, coming up into coming up to turn 1. There we go, I'll get my words out eventually. Look at this, how wonderfully close this battle is. Streaming through turns 2 and turns 3, you can see that the battle for third place is the one that's coming through, and as we can see, the everything is coming through now. But Casey O'Gorman, he's been doing this all day, as we've been saying, and in fact he's got a 2.553 second lead over Evan Belford and Ollie Walker. And Manuel Brinton is in 4th place, Ross McGuire 5th, 6th place for Taylor Lawrence, 7th for Josh Bannister, Declan Connell 8th, 9th Ryan Hitchcock, and 10th is Bailey Stewart Campbell.
Well, what is Casey O'Gorman put in that bike? Is it rocket fuel? Because he's way out in front again, and we sort of kind of thought that might happen, and it certainly lived up to the pre-race potential of what everyone thought he might do, thundering away, unbeatable. And from a commentator's point of view, it's fantastic to see such a dominant young rider, and also it's fantastic to see behind him, a huge squabble happening for third place.
It is Ollie Walker who currently heads that battle, but he's got Emmanuel Brinton and Ross Maguire right behind him. 3 bikes as they come through turn 8, the right-hander, nailing the apex very nicely indeed. It gets a little bit wide. They're going to have to wait as long as they can through the final corner. This is going to be properly close stuff. They almost go side by side through the final corner, and Emmanuel is going to try and make a look at the inside, and he's not made it. He's not made the move, so evidently he couldn't really find a way through for third place there, so he's going to have to sit back. And look how close they've bunched up. There's barely inches covering this battle as they come up towards turn 4. The left-hander, once again, he's now got to defend from Ross Maguire. So what goes one way will then also go the other, as we got someone down at turn 1, and they are moving. I'm trying to get the bike up and taking the bike out, and they're moving the bike away. And what's happened?
There's been action.
What's happened? So someone has gone down
from the chasing pack. The rider has slipped out of that and got himself back up onto his feet and back into the race. But yeah, there's it looked like it might have been Emmanuel Brinton,
and it is indeed dropping down the order like a stone. And it's a shame to see Emmanuel, who has had a good meeting so far. He's been very quick this weekend, and it's a shame to see that that's happened to him. And as we make our way now through turns 3 and 4, once again 4.741 is the lead at the half distance between Casey O'Gorman and Evan Belford. So it just goes to show, isn't it, you put the effort in and you put the time in, you got some talent, you know, you can see that it goes a long way. And in fact, it's so far up the road, you wouldn't believe that this circuit's only a kilometre long. That's a massive gap, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly does feel like a kilometre long when you're walking around it in the evening, certainly. But it's a nice track, and it's even more beautiful in the sunny conditions that we're enjoying as Evan, Ollie and Ross all thunder over the line once again to continue their fight for second place.
It's a titanic battle for second place. It's also a great battle going on for 7th and 8th between Ryan Hitchcock, who's just got the better of Josh Bannister. Everywhere you look down in the field, there is absolutely great battles happening. It goes to show just how close and how good the battling is here at Cool Fab Racing, because obviously now Ross Maguire has got past Ollie Walker, now in third place, so he's up now into third. Yep.
Somebody had a brief stoppage after turn number 4. And he's sounds like he's restarted as well, so he's overcoming dramas for him. But yes, as you say, the main pack, the main one that we're all keeping our eyes on, Evan Belford, Ross Maguire and Ollie Walker, still all pretty much locked together.
And of course, with only 2 laps left to go, it's important because they're going to have to try and make their way through as quickly as he can. And as he comes up to turn number 3 now, looks at the inside, will draw side by side, going to try and go around the outside, but Evan's got him covered. He knows what he's doing by now. Coming up towards turn number 4 and 5, again, there's not much room to really throw one up the inside. You've got to really commit to that kind of attack. Now Declan Connell's dropped back somewhat. He's lost positions to Ryan Hitchcock, Josh Bannister, Bailey Stewart-Campbell and James Cook. So as they come up towards the line, 1 lap left to run for Casey O'Gorman. He's got a dominant lead at the moment, but second place not quite so sure. Ross Maguire has made it through, but Evan Belford is going to make a great move up the inside. Tried to, didn't quite make it work in the end. So as they come through turn 2 and 3, can he make a late move to really get his position back? He's not going to be happy inside that visor, but you know what, sometimes these things happen in racing. You want to take the points where you can, but you got to take the positions where you can. Not long now left to go though for Casey O'Gorman, number 7, to take another dominant victory.
I certainly think that Casey O'Gorman's lead of 5.3 seconds, as it was over the line the previous time, you get the feeling that he could have extended that lead if he wanted to, but he
does take the victory now. Yeah. Well done to Casey O'Gorman, another great victory for him. Who's going to come over the line for second? No, it is going to be Ross Maguire ahead of Evan Belford and Ollie Walker. So that will be your top 4. Meanwhile, 5th place, Taylor Lawrence and Bailey Stewart-Campbell takes 6th place away from Ryan Hitchcock on the very last lap. So Hitchcock will be 7th, 8th will be Josh Bannister, 9th will be Declan Connell, 10th is Emmanuel Brinton, James Cook will be 11th, 12th will be Johnny Garnes, 13th is Troy Jeffrey, Sandy Horn 14th, 15th Mason Foster, 16th will be Avar Pendrell, and 17th will be Taylor Stewart Campbell. 18th was Jack Kirch, who was 6 lap downs, only completed 1 lap, and that was that. And another great race here for the Junior LC40s, their final one of the weekend.
Fantastic stuff. Thank you very much, Dan Marr, for calling that race rather brilliantly. And it was it does help as a being a commentator that you're treated to such fantastic racing as well, if I must say so. Indeed, absolutely. So up next, it is the Pit Bike 140 and Moto Team race, final races for them, and that's coming up.
Now the official partner series to the BSB. This is Cool Fab Racing.
This is the place where the lady lives with jungle fever.
And we are back live once again, streaming live radio online at coolfabracing.com and on Facebook, facebook.com/coolfabracing. We are live, and you can go back and listen to podcast of all of your races if you so wish. Just search on the iTunes store, Cool Fab Racing, you'll find it, listen to it, and enjoy your success as well. Dan Marr is here covering the championship this weekend in absence of our usual commentator Alex Raby, who is unfortunately out of action due to a sickness, and Dan Marr is about to call the final race of the Pit Bike 140 and Moto Team categories.
Indeed, we are the final race for them this weekend, and it will see again Sam Clowes and Jamie King sharing the front row of the grid as they head onto their green flag lap. Alex Vella, who's currently taken, I believe, both victories in this meeting's races, ahead of Ian Jackson. Simon Clowes and Darren Anderson will be starting on row 3. Row 4, Fraser Kinnaird and Cameron Hall. Row 5, Neil Kinnaird and Keith Bolton. Row 6 is Brandon Perrell and Tommy Phillip. Alistair Kinnaird and Leo Smith on row 7. Row 8, and the final row of the grid is Howard Taylor and Michael Elms. And of course, the two classes, the PB 140s and the Moto teams. Pit Bike 140s, well, that's pretty much what it says on the team, really. It says on the tin, really. And as for the Moto teams, it's a more cost-effective, they say, way to share a bike over the course of a meeting, but some just use it as a bit more experience to get some time behind a bike or use something a bit different in these races. And multi-class racing is always good around circuits like this because it can really bring out some great racing between the slightly slower classes and the slightly more powerful classes. The PB140s are the quicker bikes, but the Moto teams also can handle it on their own when they need to. Anyway, bikes up to the start finish line now, and as they all stream up towards the line, I'm getting confirmation we have 13 who have come over the line, and we had 14 now, so waiting on just a couple more to come through, and if we can't find people, we will let you know. So anyway, up towards the green flag walks the start line marshal. No lights, it's the flag, gets it ready, holds it in his hand. He's going to raise it up now. How long is he going to hold? Quite a long hold. There we go, that's the start. Decent, and that's decent enough for Sam Clowes to possibly take the lead. In fact, yes, he does. Coming through turn 1 for the first time, running very deep though, was Jamie King, the 76, as he came through turn 1 for the first time. And Sam has just checked out again. As you can see, a big gap. And in fact, that's Jamie King is going to have a bit of a challenge there, side by side. Doesn't quite lose out to second place, but the 31, which goes to Sam Clowes, so I must have misinterpreted that. We'll have to see who's actually in lead. It's Alex Vella. Of course it's Alex Vella. The 621 has got back into the lead once again. Qualifying might not have been that good, but he's been fantastic in all 3 races this weekend, including this one so far. A 14-lap race, so a much longer race for everyone to get a good run. But as they come over the line for the first time, it is Alex Vella ahead of Jamie King, Sam Clowes, Ian Jackson, Cameron Hall, Tommy Phillip. So the top 6 all PB140s. Then it's the Moto team: Darren Anderson, Keith Bolton, Sam Clowes, or Simon Clowes, Fraser Kinnaird, Neil Kinnaird. Moto team 12th place is Brandon Perrell in the PB140, Leo Smith as well, and then 14th and last is Alistair Kinnaird in the Moto team bike. Good start there overall, and we can see just a little bit of a hint of a move up for 5th place. Tommy Phillip trying to move up the inside of Cameron Hall coming through turn number 4. Didn't quite work out, and sometimes these bikes are quite big, relatively heavy, very powerful though, so when used in the right manner, Leicester, you can get a great run and make a pretty good overtaking manoeuvre.
Certainly, especially on this final turn where they're all coming through now, you can get a pretty decent slipstream and overtake your rivals, as I'm sure some people will be looking to do. Alex Vella out in front by a margin of 1.7 seconds that time around. Jamie King in second, Sam Clowes in third, Ian Jackson fourth, Cameron Hall in fifth, and Tommy Phillip in 6th place. The leader in Moto team, it is Darren Anderson, as
Keith Bolton,
one rider pulls off. Was that Keith?
Yes, that is Keith Bolton, who pulled off at
going again.
turn number 8 and then does carry on, but he will lose a lap. He's had troubles with that bike all weekend. It must be a sad weekend. And move up the inside at turn number 6 though, and that's going to change the 5th place battle, I presume, in the favour of Tommy Phillip. So as he comes over the line, they go side by side up towards the line. Who's he going to be around the outside? And it is Tommy Phillip, who then confirms his 5th place ahead of Cameron Hall. So it's Vella ahead of King, Clowes, Jackson, Phillip, Hall, Anderson and then Kinnaird. Well, it's Neil Kinnaird in front of Fraser Kinnaird. He's got past Brandon Perrell, Simon Clowes, 11th, 12th is Leo Smith, 13th is Alistair Kinnaird, and Keith Bolton is 14th. Fastest lap to Jamie King though, 1.7 the gap between himself and Vella, but 49.061, only a tenth or so ahead, faster than Alex Vella.
The gaps between the front two, Alex Vella and Jamie King, dropping dramatically now, and King right on the back of fact, so that might be the
that's the battle for, I believe that'll be the battle for 3rd place. So that'll be Sam Clowes who comes over the line now, and he's saying it is a very close battle indeed, but also it is very tight between Vella and King.
Yeah, and looks like there's been a position move. Sorry to interrupt, Dan, but it looks like for the okay,
well, when we find out, we will let you know. But of course, it's tightening up between Vella and King. 1.493 seconds the gap, 48.8 compared to the 49.1 for King versus Vella. So he is closing in slightly and slowly, making his way up towards the start-finish line now. And it's going to be an interesting one. We've got 10 laps to go then. 4 laps completed, 10 to go. 1.2 seconds down the gap between Vella and King. Over the line now, it is Clowes. Phillip, as you say, has now moved up into 4th place, as you called it, Leicester.
Vella almost having a heart-in-mouth moment, to put it politely, coming out of turn number 1. He corrected what almost was quite a serious race-leading losing incident, but he's managed to keep it, but he's under increased pressure at the moment.
It is indeed, and look at this, they are nose to tail, almost go side by side. There's a bit of nose cutting, he does force it on the left hand side, coming up to turn 8 around the outside, won't work. The cutback could though, so coming through the right hander, they're going to go side by side, almost over the line. The long way around he's going to try, doesn't work, but that gap is literally under a tenth of a second, extremely close up towards turn 1, and we've got 9 laps left to run, 5 laps completed, and all of a sudden Alex Vella is not looking quite so indestructible now. Coming through turn 2 and 3, and there's a yellow flag. Someone's gone down at turn 1, does get back on the bike and carries on, but yellow flags at turn 1, carries on then, and it's perfectly fine. Meanwhile, turn 4, the left-hander, turn 5, the right-hander, they're both hairpins, and you have to go line astern. You can't really overtake here, but look at the amount of curbing that Jamie King uses. He's just pushing the bike out as far to the curbing as possible to get the most amount of traction, to try and get that run, to try and get any advantage he can through turn 8 and turn 9. And they're going to come through now an extremely long streaming corner through the line, and the gap this time 0.130.
Side by side into turn 1, Jamie King on the outside of turn 1, and Alex Vella takes his position back into the lead once again. Still very close, and Tommy Phillip moves down a couple of spots. That must have been him who had the moment on the previous lap, but yeah, it's really it's so close between these two leaders here. Alex Vella still out in front, side by side, further down the action, further down the field into turn 1. Between, that must be,
and that looks like Simon Clowes, I think it is, in the green bike, in the Moto team bike. And yes, it's Neil Kinnaird, Simon Clowes and Fraser Kinnaird who are close over the line. Side by side almost once again though, the battle for the lead. Vella has to go to Ryder's right hand side to try and defend the racing line into turn 1. Can Jamie King finally get it around the long way? No, he can't. He's run out wide. Not a lot he can do. Meanwhile, the gap between Ian Jackson and Sam Clowes is also very close for third place, and in fact Ian has got through. The gap between those two at the line was 0.142, so that's also a great battle for many places on the podium here. Right now we are at 7 laps to go, we're half distance here, and Alex Vella somehow very nicely clings on to the race lead by mere tenths of a second ahead of Jamie King. Ian Jackson now into third place ahead of Sam Clowes. Cameron Hall and Tolly Phillip are 5th and 6th. Our Moto team leaders, of course, Darren Anderson and Simon Clowes, Neil Kinnaird, Fraser Kinnaird in 9th and 10th. Meanwhile, lap 8 now, they make their way up the inside. They're going to have lap traffic who's going to have to get out of the way. That looked very close there for Jamie King, who had to try and duck out of the way. Unfortunately, the traffic was on the left-hand side. Jamie tried to go left, that's his racing line he's been using to try and get past. Didn't work, so has to carry on regardless. Lose him a good couple of tenths. He is going to close the gap back in, so it's not the biggest issue. But nonetheless, that's going to put a bit of pressure on him as we do get longer and longer into this race. You got to think he's going to have less and less time to make the move. Coming up towards turn 8 now, though, and certainly nothing seems to be happening in terms of changing that through the final corner. Again, the toe though is a good one.
Yeah, certainly Jamie King, as he crosses the line, 3 tenths behind Vella now, still in second position, and he looks like his strongest part of the track seems to be the exit of turn number 1 and coming out of the final turn, approaching the fast long start-finish straight. That seems to be where he has the best opportunities, but around the infield section it is very much Alex Vella who visually seems to have the edge.
He does have the edge because he's got the track position as well. He's in front. Of course, he can make it as difficult for Jamie to get past as he wants, and it will work. Of course, let's have a brief look as well. The battle for 3rd and 4th still looking mighty tight as well, and we can see there's a slowing, well, in fact, irregard me, 7 and 31 looking very close indeed as they came over the line the last time. 0.264 was the gap over the line. There was traffic ahead of them as the race leaders Vella and King came into the first corner. Turns 2 and 3, first the left then the right. You've got to really move the bike over to the right hand side to try and get it stopped, try and get it turning. That great grip that is available. 4 laps are left to go. We are losing time here, and every single second that Jamie King is sitting behind, he's just going to be under incredible pressure, trying to run out wide onto the curbing as much he can. He just needs that extra bit of speed, but he just can't find it. This is what happens when you sit behind people. You get frustrated, and it can really do a lot for a rider, I suppose, sitting behind someone for so long and forcing them to make a mistake.
Yeah, this is going to be a fantastic 3 laps remaining to see just if Jamie Kang can do anything at all about Alex Vella and the chasing pack, which is also quite close as well, Dan.
And of course, coming through turn 3, look at this. They had very big traffic in front of them. They had a bike in front of them. This has closed it up just ever so slightly. They got caught at the wrong point, but now Alex is having to actually stop it at the apex now, as opposed to running it into the line he wants. He knows he's got to defend because Jamie's as close, if not closer, than he was before. He tries to put it onto the curb and trying to get a good run. He's going to go to Ryder's left-hand side, can't quite stick his nose in, has to lift out of that. That could have been a good opportunity. Head was even an inch closer, but as they come up towards the line, they've got 3 laps left to go. It's going to be 2 laps left to go. Over the line they come. The gap this time, 0.240. Could he make a move up the inside? He jinks one way, he jinks the other. Doesn't work either way, I'm afraid. So Alex Vella does keep the lead for now.
Leader of the Moto Team classes is still Darren Anderson, and bike number 133, Simon Clowes, still in second place at the moment in Moto Team. Neil Kinnaird in third in Moto Team. Fraser in fourth at this moment in time. Could still change with just under 2 laps to go. And where are the leaders? Where's Jamie? Still, he must be getting really frustrated behind Alex Vella, and Alex seems to be taking a bit of a defensive line each time. He knows exactly where to put that bike.
But he did make a small mistake there because he ran out onto the grass on the exit of turn number 6, and that's going to slow him down significantly. Coming through turn number 9, they've got a lot of traffic in front of them, which is going to be the 1 lap left to go. This is it, boys. This is going to be the battle for the race lead. They've got 3 bikes in front of them. Big traffic, so they're going to have to work their way through it. Keith Bolton stays to the right-hand side. That doesn't help Alex, and that's not helped Jamie, who's lost a significant amount of time. Coming up towards turn number 3 now, but Alex has still not got to negotiate 2 extra bikes in the one place you don't want to get them. Coming through turns 4, 5 and 6, and he tries to go to the inside of one of them. This is really slowing him up. He has to stop at the apex. Jamie King is going to run as wide as he can to try and make the move at the inside. He's going to move through. Alex Vella's cleared one of them, but Jamie hasn't. Jamie's still stuck behind one of them unless he can't get up the inside coming into the final corner. No, he can't. Alex Vella has been gifted the win thanks to the traffic, but that's a big part of their racing, and you can see visibly as Alex Vella takes the victory. Jamie King lifted off through that final corner. He knew he couldn't fight about it. You could tell how angry he was because of it, but Alex Vella, a great drive from him, a great ride from him. As you say, they slowed down. And look at that, a mark of respect there. They both slow down. They give each other a good pat on the back, a good handshake. They're so happy, but a lot of respect for that, to slow down, to shake the other rider's hand. That means a lot. Wheelies in the air, he's very happy. But Alex Vella takes the victory in the 6-2-1 ahead of Jamie King. Ian Jackson was ending up the 3rd place, 4th place Sam Clowes, 5th was Cameron Hall, 6th was Tommy Phillip. Darren Anderson will take the win in Moto Team on the 133 ahead of Simon Clowes, Neil Kinnaird, Fraser Kinnaird. Brandon Perrell in the PB 140 was 11th, whilst 12th was Leo Smith. Alistair Kinnaird in 13th, and Keith Bolton was in 14th. What a great race to end the PB 140/Moto Team here at Tattershall.
Certainly was dramatic anyway, with the leaders trying desperately to negotiate traffic, and with Jamie King trying desperately to negotiate traffic and get past Alex Vella. And it was really, really nice to see at the end of the race as well, them both shaking hands and congratulating each other on a very hard fought podium. So enjoy the podium, guys. That was absolutely brilliant display of hard fought riding, and almost, I would say, a masterclass of defending in exactly. He knows where those apexes are. He might have been testing here before, I suspect. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, this is Cool Fab Racing, and we are live online right now with our live radio feed, which is on coolfabracing.com, and also our still live Facebook stream as well. We've managed to find some good 4G signal, and we're still on Facebook, which is fantastic. And on there, if you care to have a quick nosy around, you'll see that we have some visuals as well. You'll be able to see most of the track as well, if you're not here at the track. But I suppose you'll be watching on Facebook anyway. Out next, Mini GP 70s, and this is always a fantastic race as well, having enjoyed 2 thrillers really for yesterday and today, and this is the final race of it, and that will be coming up in just a moment.
We're now the official partner series to the BSB. This is Cool Fab Racing.
Ready.
It is. Go, go, go!
This is the Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bikes Championship.
And this race, brilliantly called, I'm sure, no pressure, by Dan Marr.
Thank you. It is the final Mini GP70 race of the weekend, and of course it will see Joshua Watley and Jay Abel take the front row of the grid. Second place, or third place, second row, will be Harvey Claridge and then Brodie Crockford. Row 3, Callum Beach and Jeremy Knight. Row 4, Louis Rendell and Oscar Pinson. Row 5, Luke Coggins and Owen Mellor. And row 6 is Jaden Toomer and Elliot Dufton. That is your grid as they make their way onto the green flag lap for their final race of the weekend. Of course, we are running about half an hour early. This was scheduled to run at half past 3. Now it's pretty much 2 minutes past 3, so we're running quite on schedule, which is always good to see. And I'm really enjoying this race. It'll be a fantastic one to see. Of course, our race which we won, which we witnessed earlier, was quite a good one as well. As I just have a quick, I'm just going to dig through the numbers now. Any quick thoughts, Lester, for this race?
It'll be interesting to see, obviously, Josh Watley, all eyes on him, as well as Brodie Crockford, who put on a bit of a display in some of the earlier races this afternoon, and of course Owen Mellor, Louis Rendell. I could read them all out. They're all pretty good riders, and we will see an amazing race.
And here. Anyway, so as we get up to the grid then for the final Mini GP70 race of the weekend, all eyes will be on Joshua Watley. He took the victory this morning. Can he repeat his success from earlier on today? Make it 2 wins from 2? We'll certainly find out in just a short moment's time as the flag marshal walks back to his point, picks up the green flag. Of course, no light, it's the flag. You don't go when it goes up, you go when it goes down. It's raised, long hold, and drops it. A bit of wheel spin there, but I think Joshua Watley's about to take it, unless, yes, he does take it. So Joshua Watley takes the lead then ahead of Jay Abel as they come through turns 2 and 3 for the first time. And it's a very interesting one, of course, because we saw how hard they both pushed each other. But number 16, that's Harvey Claridge, is not going to go anywhere. He's currently in third place. He had a great race early on today as well. So as they come through turn 5, the right-hander hairpin before turn 6, the second left-handed hairpin, as well as turn 7, which is the very long left-hander. All eyes will be on the man in the lead, Joshua Watley, but can Jay Abel catch him? They've gapped him quite a little bit, so it could be the battle for second place already. But nonetheless, over the line, it is Joshua Watley ahead of Jay Abel and Harvey Claridge. Brodie Crockford is the one who's lost out some time. Callum Beach has jumped up, but Louis Rendell, Oscar Pinson, Luke Coggins, Owen Mellor, Jaden Toomer and Elliot Dufton are the rest of the 11 bike field. Meanwhile, on lap 2 out of 14 already, it looked like Harvey Claridge was having a bit of a look up the inside of Jay Abel coming into turn 3 on driver's right hand side. Did have to back out of it, but it would have been quite an interesting move up towards turns 5 and 6. And as they just settle into a rhythm, make sure they can get that temperature into the tyres. Of course, the sun is out, so it is going to be good conditions to race. Good for the tyres, good for everyone, Lester.
Certainly, yes, as the lap ticks down to another one. Over the line goes Josh Watley with the fastest lap so far, 46.457. And there's Jay Abel still in second position with Harvey Claridge in third and Brodie Crockford in fourth. That is the chasing pack. Can they do anything whatsoever about Josh Watley?
And of course Owen Mellor down in now 8th place, had a great move on Luke Coggins to come side by side over the line. He did take it by 0.069 of a second, so that's pretty close, I'd say, as they came over the line. 13 laps to go as we found 1 lap completed, as you say, up towards the line, and we see side by side is going to be 94, which is Pinson, and 12, which is Coggins, coming through turn number 8. And second place battle as well. 0.2 the gap between Abel and Claridge. Coming through turn 1, not quite close enough to make a move, but he's still going to have to make a decision. But that was a mistake there from Claridge, as I just mentioned. So has dropped back another position. So Crockford now up into 3rd, down to 4th. Harvey Claridge. What happened there, Lester?
It seemed like a turn 1, perhaps. I don't know if he outbraked himself, but they didn't seem to be too much argy-bargy. It might have just been a very clean overtake.
Well, there we go then. But Claridge is now down into 4th place. It means that Crockford now back up into 3rd. And he looks like he could be in with a chance of taking 2nd place as well, because obviously Jay Abel is not too far up the road. They come over the line once again. And Jay Abel, the gap between himself is 0.337. It's significantly closer as they come through turn number 1 as well. He just seems to struggle under the brakes coming into turn 1. He loses so much time, does Jay, but can continue. I'm not sure about the brakes, because he just doesn't seem to be able to stop as quickly. It takes him longer to stop than it does some of the other competitors around here at Tattershall.
Yeah, certainly Claridge looking pretty feisty on that 4th place machine at the moment in this final race of Mini GP 70, and he's certainly trying to gain that place back that he lost from Brodie Crockford. And Jay Abel will shortly come over the line in 2nd position, as he does, following Josh Watley, a gap of now 3.6 seconds. Still no position changes as of yet, but that turn 1 is one to watch.
And another great battle that's ensuing at the moment is the battle for 5th place. Callum Beach in the 127 is currently only 0.216 ahead of Louis Randell. That's for 5th place, and that could change in the next couple of laps, I suspect. But the 2nd place battle is absolutely nose to tail. It is literally one bike length, one bike length, one bike, 3 bikes for the 2nd place battle. And I tell you what, Brodie Crockford is looking very excitable. Going to try and get a run on the inside coming out of turn 8. Doesn't work, so he has to sit behind. But again, just getting a good slipstream coming into turn number 1. A little bit of a gust of wind, which, whilst it won't affect them too much, will give that little bit of a psychological advantage that he's breaking that hole in the air and just using it to his advantage as they come through turns 3 up towards turn 4. Now he is much closer than I've seen him throughout the race. So with 5 laps completed, 9 laps remaining in this race, we will quickly soon get a better picture of whether Jay Abel is going to be able to keep up this pace. We've seen great defensive drive, but can he make it up the inside? Not through turn 7, he can't.
Keep your eye out as well if you're watching on our live Facebook stream, or you're here at the track as well, for the fight, not for 2nd place that's going on as well, but watch Callum Beach and Louis Rendell as well for 5th. They are right up into fighting, right on track with each other. That's going to be really spicy, that one.
It is turning into a great battle. As we say, there's lots of very entertaining battles in and around the racing here today. And as they come through turn number 3 up towards turn 4, and Jay Abel just really has to get the bike stopped. He's having to really focus now on defending, because Brodie Crockford is going to take any advantage he can. Even the fact that the wide lines that Jay Abel's able to take, no pun intended, is just giving him the advantage in terms of psychological. He's having to think about it. This means that Brodie's going to think, well, you've done this, sunshine, so I'm just going to go out the inside, I'm going to go around the outside, I'm going to do absolutely whatever. Over the line they come, it's very close indeed. 0.250 over the line between Abel and Crockford through turn 1, and you can see that it is close. Maybe not as close as it's been for the last couple of laps, but it is still there, it's still present, and they're still enjoying a healthy battle with 7 laps to go. Halfway distance here, Joshua Watley in the lead of the race on the number 70, 5.1 seconds ahead of Jay Abel, and this battle for 2nd, which is going to go side by side through turn number 5. Had a brief look around the outside. Turn number 6, again he's going to have a serious look around the outside now. Could get the cut back on the exit of 6. They go side by side through turn number 7. He's going to lift off, surely Brodie has to, as they come through turn number 8. But this is the big signal of intent. They're going to go side by side, I reckon, through 9, not quite, but this is the signal of intent. Brodie is not going to take any nonsense from Jay Abel as they come up towards turn number 1. He's put his nose at the inside. He's saying, you know what, mate, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm just going to come past. You're going to have to deal with it. What do you think, Lester, that's going to do for Jay?
Well, he's under increased pressure. He's under more pressure than he certainly has seemingly been at any point today, perhaps, with Crockford literally breathing all the way down his fairings, and Claridge seemingly, I don't know if he's having trouble keeping pace with them, but it's Watley way out in front by nearly 6 seconds. Jay Abel in second place with Crockford, I would say kind of desperate to make a move. I think we might see a lunge. He's right up close to him, coming out of the final stretch now. He's not quite near enough. He's just 0.3 behind him. He's still in third place. Harvey Claridge remains in fourth. The gap between them two is just stretching out a bit, as is the gap between Beach and Rendell as well. That's fight has seemingly sort of settled down, I would say.
Of course, so 5th and 6th for Beach and Rendell. Pinson in 7th, but 8th is Luke Coggins, who's made a move on Owen Mellor to get back into 8th place. 9th place then is Owen Mellor. Jaden Toomer currently in 10th, and 11th place is Elliot Duffton on lap 9 out of, 14. They've got 5 laps left to go, and as we see now, our race leader has traffic to deal with. Not going to be a big deal, has cleared it perfectly fine, but that's still something he's got to look at, and we'll close the gap a little bit. Not much. 6.3 seconds is what the gap is, and it's opened out a little bit between Abel and Crockford. Maybe Jay's just noticed what he's doing and can pace himself and can put himself in all the right places, and has put Brodie off trying to make a move. So it has settled down briefly, but I do suspect, given another couple of laps or so, and it will re-increase, and it will become alive once again here in the third race for the Mini GP70, of course, here at Tattershall, round 4 of the 2017 Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bike Championship. We're seeing some great racing here today, especially this battle for second place between Jay Abel and Brodie Crockford,
who are both approaching the traffic that Josh Watley was approaching, but they might not even need it, because now Crockford is all over the back of Abel, not able to get past him that time. Into turn 1 they go.
And it is incredibly tight, as you say, the traffic, which does go side by side, which is really going to hinder what they do. You've got to make the best move possible. Oh my goodness, it's like threading a needle, as someone gone straight on at turn number 2 and 3. Does keep it out of the barrier, just keeps it out of the barrier. And someone pulled to the left-hand side, trying to go back into the paddock, and of course it's like threading a needle through a haystack. It was so tight. But if you misjudged it ever so slightly, it could have been a fatal in terms of the race result. But anyway, what could have happened here? Brodie Crockford was looking again at the back of Jay Abel, trying to make the move, coming up towards the final corner. Around the final corner they go, and through they go perfectly fine, no questions asked. Elliot Duffton has now got past Jaden Toomer, so I think it was Toomer who went into the pit lane.
Yes, seemingly Claridge as well, who was the one that had the little stoppage as well.
Yep, it was. Thank you very much for pointing that out. So Claridge, who was the man who went straight on. With 2 laps left to go now, he's going to have to make something happen. Our race leader's just laughing. He doesn't need to think about any of this. But where is our battle for second place? There it is, coming through turn number 6 now. The left-hander, much longer, opens out to become turn number 7, turn 8. You've got to actually really get it stopped, and I think Jay is just going to get it the final lap. We've got it now up towards the line. What is the battle for second going to be? It's going to be closer than the gap was last time. 0.234. It's identical to what it was on the last lap, so they're pushing each other as hard as they can. Meanwhile, 4th and 5th is very close as well. 127 and 101. We've got a yellow flag. What's happened here?
For second place, there's been something happened down at turn 1,
and Jay Abel's gone wide. So,
yeah,
and oh my goodness me, down has gone Brodie Crockford. Up at turn number 3, he's up. He is up. He's not very happy at all, understandably, but he has got up and is moving. So that's good to see. But yellow flags at turn 2, and Abel is. It's all got a bit topsy-turvy here. All we do know is that Joshua Watley will take another victory in the Mini GP70. Who is going to be in second place? We just don't know. We're going to have to wait until we get over the line now. It will be Jay Abel in second place. Third place will be Louis Rendell. Louis Rendell has taken third place ahead of Callum Beach. So third will be Rendell, fourth will be Beach. Fifth place is going to be Oscar Pinson, Harvey Claridge in 6th. So obviously Brodie Crockford hasn't crossed the line. He gets going now. Will he take 7th? I think it might be 9th. Over the line now comes Luke Coggins for 7th place. Owen Miller 8th, and 9th will be Brodie Crockford. My goodness me, one and away to end that race. No one could really predict that, could they?
Well, I saw out the corner of my eye, it was Crockford who had a bit of an incident, or I don't know what happened, I didn't see the full thing, but he was certainly off track at turn 1, and whatever it was, presumably was connected to the reason why he stopped at the end of, what was it, turn 3, turn 4?
Yeah, he went wide at turn 3.
So that could have been connected. Don't want to speculate what it was, but it was certainly dramatic, as we anticipated beforehand. It was another brilliant, fantastic victory from Josh Watley, as you say, and Abel in second, and Rendell rounding out the podium positions. Well, it's all action here at Cool Fab Racing, and we are at Tattershall in Lincolnshire for round 4 of the 2017 championship, and we've got the Pit Bike Open category coming up next, and AC40 Pro, and already we're facing the Mini F1 sidecars after that. Just 3 races left to go, and we are way ahead of schedule. Just to give you an idea, the next race, Pit Bike Open, on the original schedule was scheduled for 10 to 4, which is, by my calculations, more than half an hour ahead of schedule. But let's maybe hope it stays that way. So just to give you a bit of an advance warning, we do seem to be once again way ahead of schedule, which presumably for those who face a long journey back home is no bad thing as well. So thank you very much to Dan Marr for calling that race rather brilliantly, and the next rider's about to appear out on track, and once again thank you to everybody who has been sharing and commenting on the live action that we've been sending online as well on our Facebook feed, which is Cool Fab Racing on Facebook, and on Twitter as well. We're on Twitter, send us a message, it's at Cool Fab Racing, and our live radio streams as well on the website coolfabracing.com. Hello to Peter Ansell, who is certainly tuned in and looking forward to all of the action. May Burns says go Ross, and Rachel Owens still tuned in, and as is Jenny Darter as well. So hello, and do give us a share as well on Facebook, because the more we can get the championship extra visibility in the world, the better it will be for everybody. So Pit Bike Open is just taken to the grid and about to start their green flag lap, and Dan Marr once again will call this race alongside myself.
Thank you very much, Lester. So let's have a quick look at what is going to go on as they get ready to go onto their green flag lap. So it will be Ollie Walker. In fact, no, that is the wrong grid. Let me amend that ever so slightly. Do bear with me just 1 second.
To be fair, it has been
a very long weekend.
It's been some pretty mind-boggling, spectacular action that we've seen here on track.
It has
today.
So we're just getting the grid up for you now, so please do just bear with us. But anyway, what we'll do then is we'll do it on the computer, as we should do. So yes, here we go. So the grid will be Charlie Nesbitt, who starts on pole position ahead of Ryan O'Grady. Max Cook in 3rd place. 4th place is John Ansell. James Rose Sr. will be in 5th place. 6th for Blake Ansell. 7th for Jack Waters. Craig Walker in 8th. 9th for Felix Hearn. 9th for Felix Hearn. And 10th is Anthony Powell. So as we now head on the latter stages of the green flag lap as we go to the grid, and up we go now. It's going to be a great race, as you say, one of just 3 races left today. Can you believe it? It's gone so quickly, isn't it? Time flies when you have fun. It's an old adage, but it is true, isn't it? So up to the grid they go now.
Yeah, I love the sound of these bikes, certainly on our radio feed as well. They sound epic.
It just gives you that extra bit of excitement, I like to think. It just is more interesting. It makes everything better sound. Anyway, so we are ready for the race, and as the flag marshal gets the green flag at the ready, it's not when it goes up, it's when it goes down. Up goes the flag, a good long hold, drops the flag now, and there we go, Charlie Nesbitt. A good start, as we saw earlier on today. Him and Max Cook are going to be doing the best that they can do up towards turns 2 and 3 for the first time A 14-lap race in prospect as ever. So up towards turn number 3 they go, and of course it is Charlie Nesbitt in the lead of the race ahead of Max Cook and Blake Ansell, who started in 3rd. And as we've seen before, he's not checked out quite as quickly as we expected him to. Of course, early on in some of the races earlier on today, we saw that he'd just be off completely into the distance by a second, even on the first lap. That hasn't happened at this start, so maybe he didn't quite get as good a start as we expected for this one. But over the line, it is Nesbitt ahead of Max Cook. John Ansell, in fact, has gone up to 3rd place. So Blake now down into 4th. Jack Walters in 5th. 6th place for Ryan O'Grady. 7th for Craig Walker. 8th for Felix Hearn. 9th for Anthony Peril. So there we go. That is your result at the moment. And a good battle going on at the moment. It's a battle for, I believe, 5th place between Jack Walters and Ryan O'Grady. And O'Grady has in fact got past, coming up on the first part of this lap as well. So has made good his speed, come all the way through, made it now up into 5th place. Jack Walters down into 6th, but Charlie Nesbitt somehow is not pushing anywhere near as hard as Max Cook, and not pushing anywhere near as hard as you would expect him to. Over the line for the second lap, Max Cook fastest lap 45.8, 46.0 for Charlie Nesbitt. The gap is 0.2 flat, that's it, it's very close indeed. And as they make their way through turns 2 and 3, once again you could just think Max Cook is going to be loving this, because he's not been this close in quite a while to Charlie Nesbitt. So certainly I imagine, Leicester, that it's going to be an interesting 13 laps in prospect.
Yeah, it'll be fantastic to see these I say titans of Cool Fab Racing now, if it's not inappropriate to sort of give them that pedestal, but yeah, they are certainly well known, and well known they are for a very good reason, because they're fantastic riders. And over the line they come once again. It's Max Cook who sets the fastest lap of a 45.4, and he's all over the back of Charlie Nesbitt. You'll be able to see on our Facebook live stream and here at the track as well. And John Ansell still in 3rd place, followed by Blake Ansell in 4th, and Ryan O'Grady in 5th, with Jack Walters in 6th place so far. But will that change up front? Because still Max Cook is trying to get past, and he's being frustrated at every single turn.
And yes, as you say, the gap over the last lap was only 5 thousandths increase, so it only closed in by 5 thousandths of a second. What does that say about the skill of both of these men? Over the line they come now, and it's 0.290, and the fastest lap to Charlie Nesbitt, 45.182. So there we go, the gap's slowly expanding, but Max is just getting into rhythm. You've got to be able to get into rhythm. If you can follow someone and follow their pace there or thereabouts, you can ensure that you're going to be there come the race end, and that's when you can really make a mistake. When you get that little bit more time, when you get that little bit more hot, flustered, whatever, you just got to be there at the end in order to take the position. Anyway, there's also a good little battle between the Ansells. So John versus Blake. Blake behind on the 213 with, well, in fact, no, Blake has managed to get through on the 13 with John behind. That was quite an interesting one. So that must have happened early on in the lap, unbeknown to us. Over the line, gap between the leaders 0.225, closing in again. So it is John Ansell, in fact, ahead of Blake Ansell. So do ignore me, but that was quite wide there by Charlie Nesbitt coming out on the exit of turn 2. That means Max Cook is significantly closer as they come through turn number 3.
And yeah, I was about to comment that these riders looking absolutely, totally matched in terms of performance, and I still think they are. However, it just could come down to who makes the least amount of mistakes, and Charlie Nesbitt having a bit of a wobble coming out of turn 1, as you say, Dan, and Max Cook is not letting up on the pressure. He's closer than ever, it seems, coming out of the final corner in that long twisting section down into into first turn. Of course, he does manage to get it through, doesn't he? Yes, he's still evenly matched. These two fantastic riders still slugging it out up front, and
much closer. He's much closer coming through turn number 3. And as you can say on the exit, is he going to get a decent run? He's not going to have to think about making a move at the inside. He just isn't close enough. However, he is just going to have to bide his time and be patient and just keep an eye on what's going on. So obviously Charlie Nesbitt is really skillful. We've seen both of these have not been under 0.3 per second for the whole race.
And keep an eye out as well for the fight behind them as well. John and Blake Ansell as well. They seem to be closer than they have been at any point in the past few laps, as Charlie Nesbitt and Max Cook thunder past our commentary position, with John Ansell and Blake Ansell in hot pursuit behind them in 3rd and 4th place, with Ryan O'Grady still remaining in 5th place, and all eyes still on the leaders as they negotiate traffic.
That's Anthony Perrell they're getting past, currently in 9th place. And Felix Hearn a moment or two ago got past the number 22, then getting past 127 to Craig Walker for 7th and 8th place. Over the line they come now, and as you say, that gap looks a little bit bigger, but nonetheless, can you believe we're about half distance already as they cross the line? 14-lap race, completed 7 laps. Can you really believe that they've been this close? No bigger the gap. This is the biggest that the gap's been, 0.382 seconds over 7 laps. Can you really believe how hard they're fighting? And it's only going to get tighter and tighter as they go on. Just as a reminder, your race order at half distance: it's Charlie Nesbitt ahead of Max Cook, John Ansell in 3rd, Blake Ansell in 4th, Ryan O'Grady 5th, Jack Walters in 6th, 7th for Felix Hearn, and 8th for Craig Walker, 9th place for Anthony Perrell. And that's just at half distance. I think it might change still. The gap though extending between Nesbitt and Cook. Maybe Nesbitt has finally found his pace, gotten into the zone, and finally starting to gap these guys.
As we wait for the leaders to come back round again, it's Charlie Nesbitt and Max Cook over the line, and the gap now is increased. So it looks like Cook has either had a bit of a sloppy lap that time round, he's lost 0.4 of a second, or perhaps Charlie Nesbitt's just had a sensational lap. But he didn't set the fastest lap on that last time, so I suspect Max had a
slower.
Yeah, I'm trying to be polite in saying, but they're still providing fantastic entertainment anyway up at front. And John and Blake Ansell, about a 1/4 of a second, just under 0.3 of a second between them both.
And they're having a fantastic battle. They're coming through turn number 5, the right-handing hairpin for the left-handed one. They almost go side by side, and John still managing to get the measure of Blake, which I think that could change yet. The gap's closed down to Max Cook. Max Cook in the 2nd place now, 45.130. The gap back down to 0.364. So once again, there is going to be a much tighter gap, and it is incredibly tight coming through turn number 3. And so as they turn through now, they turn through turns number 4 and 5. Leicester, you almost wish that we had more laps so that they could carry this fight on, but we have about 4.5 laps to go. The gap between the front two, Charlie Nesbitt and Max Cook, and John Ansell and Blake Ansell, between them, 2 packs of riders, is roughly about the same, to be honest, as Charlie and Max come over the line once again, and Max both actually facing traffic.
Traffic, and having to negotiate that, as they have no problem doing the first rider getting past him, and John and Blake Ansell thunder past as well, and once again they will probably come up towards lap traffic as well, and still Charlie Nesbitt gets past them, and Max Cook negotiates the traffic there. No problems at all for either of them. What can Max Cook do? Does he have any special moves to pull out of the bag to try and claim this race win?
Well, I suspect he might try and do so with only 3 laps left to go at the end of this one. So as they come over the line now, just 3 laps left to go. Over the line they go now, and of course 30 is still behind, 0.447, so that traffic has slightly played into the hands of Charlie. But as we see, it is getting tighter and tighter, and it is getting closer and closer. And of course the battle between John and Blake Ansell for 3rd and 4th still very tight as well. Blake only 0.324 seconds behind. 3 laps left to go. Is it going to change? It could well change. Is it getting tighter? Of course it is. Coming into turn number 6 now, the second left-handed hairpins, and they are starting to get that bite in the understeer. So maybe the temperatures, they're working these tyres so hard, it's pushing it a little bit.
And I'm just keeping my eye out for what is an increasingly interesting fight between 3rd and 4th place, John and Blake Ansell. They seem, well, I keep saying it, closer than ever before, but now they really are closer than ever before.
They have, getting much closer. 0.596 though was the last lap. as they come up towards the middle part of the lap now, so the gap increasing between Cook and Nesbitt. Meanwhile, let's have a look at the race order. The gap between the Ansels is gaining down as well to 0.226, so that might be a one-lap dash for the cash come the end of the race. So getting ready to see the flag for the last lap as well. That'll be waved as the leaders come by now for the final time. Charlie Nesbitt has got 0.852, so Max Cook is going to have the fantastic lap in order to get the position.
Also, I've been keeping my eye on a couple of battles further down the order as well. Felix Hearn and Craig Walker, they were the lap traffic that I was mentioning earlier. There's just over 3 seconds between them both, but they are still fighting amongst themselves.
With just half a lap left to go, I do suspect it will be Charlie Nesbitt who's going to take this, unless something happens, as Max Cook almost got into the back of had contact with a back marker coming through turn number 5. But Charlie Nesbitt is going to take the victory. Another victory for him, a great result for him. Over the line, takes the checkered flag from Max Cook by 0.734. The battle, though, for third place is still unresolved. It's going to be very close coming up towards turn number 8 for the final time. And I suspect, is it going to be John or is it going to be Blake? John is just going to edge it, I think. In fact, the gap over the line for them, 0.207, very close. But that last lap, Max Cook took the fastest lap, 45.056, which was very quick indeed. But Charlie Nesbitt will take the victory ahead of Max Cook. John Ansell in third, Blake Ansell in fourth. Ryan O'Grady will take 5th place, 6th for Jack Walters. Felix Hearn has taken 7th, 8th for Craig Walker, and 9th will be for Anthony Perrill, which leaves us with just 2 races remaining here at Tattershall. What a great race we've had with the pit bikes, and I've enjoyed all of the pit bike racing and all of the racing. But of course, if you've enjoyed it, do get in touch at CoolFabRacing on Twitter and on Facebook. Plenty of ways to get in contact with us and tell us how much you're enjoying our coverage and the racing here today.
Thank you very much, Dan Marr. Yes, we are, by my calculations, around 45 minutes or thereabouts ahead of schedule, which is good. This is good. Well done, everybody, for behaving and being nice on track, in that we are able to be around 45 minutes ahead of schedule. So yes, the next race out is the penultimate race of the weekend, AC40 Pro, third and final race as the riders take to the track right now, and the mini F1 sidecars are up next, so interesting to see what happens with that. And also still loads of comments, especially for people tuning into our live Facebook chat as well. A little chat going on, actually. Peter Ansell tuned in. And Ella Rendell, you can tell I'm actually reading these, can't you? Ella Rendell and Peter and Ella both wishing their family members all the very best. And yeah, it's fantastic to see. It's facebook.com/CoolFabRacing. And we've been live all weekend with live radio coverage on CoolFabRacing.com and in other places as well. And thankfully, live on Facebook as well, because we found a good 4G signal, which is sometimes unusual at these countryside circuits. But Dan Marr, once again, back to call the third and final race of the weekend for the AC40 Pros.
Yep, thank you very much. And with the final race for the AC40 Pros, it will be Ollie Walker and James Cook who will take the front row of the grid, ahead of Dylan Mellor and Eddie O'Shea, Brian Hitchcock and Evan Belford on row 3. Row 4 is Ross Maguire and Johnny Garnes. Row 5 is Emmanuel Brinton and Josh Bannister. Row 6 is Mason Foster and Owen Mellor. Row 7 is Taylor Stewart Campbell and Mason Johnson. Row 8 is Sandy Horn and Jack Kirch. Row 9, Troy Jeffrey and Alexander Merchant. Row 10 is Kevin Sewell and Evan Pendrill. Row 11 is Max Perry. So that rounds out our 21 bike grid. And as they make their way onto the green flag lap, the penultimate race here. What a shame to say that it's a penultimate race. It wasn't lunchtime 5 minutes ago, I don't think it was. We just had action after action after action. And I think Leicester's got to say something, but I also want to add, was this the race that Kiko interfered with yesterday?
He made a prediction and I'm not going to mention anything
Beyond the
about
fact
but
that he cursed it.
I will say, keep your eye on the Cool Fab Racing Facebook page
Because
later
you
this
will
week.
see it.
There will be a cheeky video of the curse of the commentator, and it's all done in good jest. Him making his commentary debut, and it was a pretty decent first debut. I'd say.
It was great. I thought Kiko was very good, and I do hope we'll see him soon back at Cool Fab Racing, because it'll be great to hear him. I mean, but for me, you know, you'll hear from me one day. I have a logo, I have a name, you know. So anyways, we get up to the grid. Everyone forming up, and it's going to be another fantastic race. Just 2 races left to go, and as we say, this will be an 8-lap contest and then a 5-lap contest for the mini F1 sidecars. Isn't that brutal to think? It's not even like 12 laps and 13 laps left over the course of today. Not many, but you can
good ones.
Lots of good racing. Anyway, so as we get ready to go, the flag marshal is ready. Everyone moving away from the grid. Green flag goes up now. Drops the flag. There we go. It's go. Good start then from Ollie Walker. Up to turn 1. Takes a position. Fair enough. Decent at the start. That will do him quite nicely. Second place, I imagine, was James Cook. Although, as we've seen, the second row is quite a good place to start from if you want to get a great launch. Coming up towards red flag. We've had a red flag due to an incident. There are a few riders down, and with a couple of people being looked at. We won't mention anything further. A few riders are down and are being looked at. Red flag has been called, so at the start of this race has been stopped. We will get back to the action when we know everyone is okay. They're all being tended to, but we will come back to this action after this red flag.
The original and best British championships for mini bikes. This is Cool Fab Racing.
Okay, so welcome back then to the second last race, then the final AC40 Pro race of the weekend. We have... Oh yeah. Okay, so welcome back then to the AC Pro 40 race, AC40 Pro race, race 3 here at Tattershall, and as they get underway once again after the red flag, the race has restarted, and it will see James Cook take the lead in the race ahead of Ollie Walker by 0.580, and then behind it's Eddie O'Shea, Johnny Garnes, Dylan Mellor, Evan Belford, Ross McGuire, Ryan Hitchcock, John Bannister and Owen Mellor, your top 10. Now the top two have a bit of a gap between each other. Meanwhile, the third place person, of course, that's Eddie O'Shea, bit of a gap to everyone else. And then fourth backwards is enjoying a really good little battle, much like yesterday, Lester Forbes, when it seemed that no matter what happened, everything was all happening at the same time.
It was all happening, and it's starting to all happen again as one rider pulls off, much to his annoyance and frustration, starting to trying to desperately restart that bike and get underway. It's having no luck at the moment though, but out front it is James Cook, followed by Ollie Walker and Eddie O'Shea, Johnny Garnes, Evan Belford and Dylan Mellor down to 6th place, and yeah, it's interesting to see what will happen up front, as there's 1/10 of a second in between it as they enter a yellow flag zone, so no overtaking there.
Exactly, you've got to slow down a bit, you've got to make sure you can stop if you need to. They won't need to, obviously, but that's what the rules are. And of course, as you make your way up towards turn 5 and turn 6, that's through the right-hander and then the left-hander, it's much closer for the race lead than it was a few moments ago. Ollie Walker set the fastest lap on that last lap, a 50.409, and as they come over the line this time, I suspect it's going to be even closer than that. They are pretty much fairing to fairing. They're very close indeed. Over the line now, the gap is 0.151. It's just as close, and as they make their way up towards turn number 1, can't make a move coming into turn 1 on this occasion. Nonetheless, it's certainly going to give the best attempt that they can. The yellow flags have been taken back into its full course green, and as they turn through the turn number 3 on their second lap, they've got 6 laps left, and the gap from Ollie Walker, who now is in the lead, of course, ahead of James Cook. Unbeknownst to us, of course, he took the lead on that last lap. So James Cook just falling back a little bit, not quite being able to hang on. The battle for third, though, between Eddie O'Shea and Johnny Garnes is looking great as well, up towards turn 7 and turn 8. And as they come through up towards turn 9 as well, the final corner, the long sweeping corner around the outside, pretty much that overtake was made. So Johnny Garnes now up into third place, Eddie O'Shea down to 4th.
We've had a retirement from someone in turn 1. There is yellow flags being waved down into turn 1, so no overtaking. Can't quite see who retired there, but maybe the timing screens will reveal that.
They will certainly. So as we continue on with the final race for the AC40 Pros, it's going to be an interesting one, as you say. And as they make their way now through turn number 6, Ollie Walker still in the lead. It's Evan Pendrell who is the retirement at turn 1. Bike is over the wall. Marshall will step back over, and then it will be green once again. But as we can see, a big gaggle of bikes, not only for third and fourth. That battle is still raging on very nicely indeed. But it's also 5th downwards and 6th downwards. It was very close between Dylan Mellor and Ryan Hitchcock, who was only 71 thousandths behind coming over the line up towards turn number 1, and I do suspect a move could well have been made there, Lester.
Yeah, there's so much happening in this massive gaggle of... is that the right term for a massive load of riders all fighting for a position? But
I'd say so.
Yeah, the leaders starting to stabilise in their gaps now, but the action is all about right now. Johnny Garnes and Eddie O'Shea, they're almost side by side, fairing to fairing, and behind them is an even bigger pack of riders, and hard to know where to keep your attentions.
So now beyond the half distance mark, we've only got 3 laps left to go, and Ollie Walker now with a 7/10 lead ahead of James Cook. Ryan Hitchcock, in fact, did get ahead of Dylan Mellor on that particular lap as well. And there's someone who's gone down at turn 1 again now, back onto the bike, so it does continue. So the only problem there will be the loss of positions for them. And could it be Garnes? Leicester suggests it's Garnes or O'Shea, which could put a real spanner in the works.
We'll wait and see for the timing as they come through. That will certainly tell us, but still as we wait for the leaders to come round eventually, and
I think that could have been O'Shea, you know. So as we will find out in just a second, won't we, as they come round to complete lap 6. 2 laps left to go then. And Ollie Walker and James Cook still there. Garnes comes through, and then it's Hitchcock ahead of Belford. So there we go. It is definitely Eddie O'Shea who's dropped back into 10th place, which isn't the worst thing in real terms. Obviously, he's still got a decent position to get some points from it. Now, of course, we're seeing everyone else come through, and can you believe it's already nearing the final lap? So very short, very sharp, and very exciting races here, and we are looking at a great little battle here coming through turns number 5 and 6. They go side by side. This is the battle, of course, for 4th place. Now, of course, due to that off for Eddie O'Shea, through they come onto the final lap. Now they go. Can you believe that is the final lap already? But 4 bikes, which is going to be for 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th. But it is Walker, Cook, Garnes, Hitchcock, Belford, Mellor, Maguire and Bannister, with Foster and O'Shea your top 10.
Yeah, there was a few. I was keeping my eyes out on that pack for the bottom end of the top 10, and there was a few handbags with knees out and a bit of pushing and shoving, but thankfully it didn't end too disastrously, and they will, I'm sure, take the checkered flag in just a moment.
As they come up towards the final corner then, it will not be long until we see the checker flag being offered, and in fact as the final lap marker now comes down, through they come up towards the line for the final time, and it's going to be another victory for Ollie Walker, who has had a great day today. Ollie Walker then wins ahead of James Cook. Johnny Garnes will take 3rd ahead of Hitchcock and Belford. It will be then Mellor, Maguire, Bannister, Foster in 9th, 10th for O'Shea, and it will be, we don't quite know what happened with the rest of the field because it's that tight. Of course, 11th is Taylor Stewart Campbell. 12th we're expecting Mason Johnson, and does come through in number 808. 130 is in 13th, Owen Mellor. 14th will be number 18, Sandy Horn. 15th will be Alexander Merchant in 49. 16th will be Troy Jeffrey. Max Pay will be 17th, and 18th will be Cameron Sewell, with Evan Pendrell being the retirement from that race.
Thank you very much, Dan Marr, and well done to all the riders putting on a fantastic show for us in that final AC40 Pro race of the weekend. And we hurtle towards the final race of the entire meeting here at Tattershall in Lincolnshire, and it's so far been a wonderful, sunny, summery Sunday here for our very first ever meeting here at in Lincolnshire. And Dan, you're actually from Lincolnshire originally.
I am. I'm from Spalding in Lincolnshire. I was born in Boston, lived in Spalding for 10 years, and then moved up north, as I say, up to the wonderful place that is Cheshire. Just half an hour from Moulton Park.
Not bad indeed.
And here we go. The sidecars are the final race of the day, 40 minutes earlier than anticipated. So a fantastic job by all of the marshals, the timekeepers, the race control and everyone else to make sure that the races run as smoothly as they can and as quickly as they can. So there is a real prospect with, of course, 5 laps left, 5 laps in this third and final race for the sidecars, we'll see Mick Williams, of course, start on pole position. Danny Stainer in the 17 in second. Paul Coulters Senior and Mick Lee will start third and fourth. Fifth will be Simon Ibbotson, and Paul Coulters Jr. will start in sixth. Seventh for Adrian Ems. Mark Parker in eighth. Ninth is John Hosker. That will be your grid as they line up. Take up to the green flag lap. Take up towards the start-finish line. And make sure that they're all in the correct position. Now, of course, earlier on today, we've had some great racing all day from these guys. So let's look and remind ourselves as to what happened this morning in the second of the sidecar races. And we saw Mick Williams take the victory ahead of Danny Stainer by 2.576 seconds. Paul Coulter Senior would take third place with a 13.2 seconds behind the race winner in race 2. And of course, it's going to be another interesting race. Only 5 laps, so it's realistically it's only 4.5 minutes, 5 minutes. It's not long to really expect a good run, but of course it does bring us some challenges. It's
about quality, Dan.
Exactly. We don't need a particularly long race because these provide such entertainment and such a different spectacle compared to some of the things we do race here. Up to the grid they go now, and there we go, getting ready for a start. Onto the green flag lap they go to get that final temperature into the tyres to make sure everything's running smoothly. And this is the final race of the weekend, and I do feel very sad that it is the final race of the weekend. And yes, so as we say, final green flag lap of the weekend, and we do hope you've all been enjoying watching trackside, watching online, listening online to Cool Fab Racing and Cool Fab Racing Radio. And it'll be good to be able to watch all of this back. Of course, you'll be able to get all of this audio off iTunes and watch all the video back as well. So it'll be a fantastic way to catch up in case you do miss one race or something that you desperately wanted to see, like Kiko's moment, but that will be seen in a different clip anyway. So we make our way up to the grid then, and with just moments left, we will get underway with our final race of the weekend. The third race for the Mini F1 sidecars homebrewed machines. And as we make our way up to the grid, it will be, of course, Mick Williams who will start on pole position ahead of Danny Stainer and Paul Coulters Senior, as I think Lester Forbes has gone on a bit of an exploratory trip. He's going to try and actually commentate out of the window, aren't you? It seems like you are.
Not quite, but yes, it's certainly an unusual setting to have a balcony, a couple of balconies here, literally on the commentary box, and something we can possibly do for next time. Hopefully we return.
When we return, just remind us, where is the next round, Lester?
Wilton Mill, I believe.
There we go. So Wilton Mill will be our next round. We'll talk about that in just a few moments after the final race of the weekend gets underway. The Mini F1 sidecars. Mick Williams starts on pole position. The flag drops. We're underway. That's a slow start from, I believe, Paul Coulters Jr. or in the 127 of John Hosker. We'll have a look at that in just a few moments' time. But anyway, Mick Williams has made the best of his escape and taken the race lead. But he's being challenged quite heavily by the second placed sidecar, which is number 17 Danny Stainer, who is ever having a good run, coming up towards turns 5 and 6 for the first time. And as we can see, it's just a great effort from the pair. And meanwhile, further down, it was the 127. In fact, so I do apologise, it was John Hosker who had that slow getaway, I do think. So we'll have to review that later on with the footage. But as they come over the line for the first time, it will be Mick Williams ahead of Ibbotson, or Mick Lee ahead of Coulters. But it is Mick Williams in the lead ahead of Danny Stainer, Mick Lee, Paul Coulters Senior, Adrian Ems, Paul Coulters Jr., Mark Parker, Simon Ibbotson and John Hosker. That's your race order. On to lap 2. And the gap has extended between Danny Stainer and Mick Williams, and it just gives Mick Williams that bit more breathing space. But third place though is looking quite competitive between Mick Lee and Coulters Senior. Up towards turn number 5. Is he going to have a look at the inside? It might well have a look. He's very close indeed. And coming through the second left-hander at turn number 6, trying to get in on the exit. Are they going to go side by side through 7? They can't quite do so. There we go then, so through turn number 8 and turn number 9, which is the final corner. 51.819 for Mick Williams, 2.015 seconds. Quite a good start there, Leicester.
Certainly is. Fantastic start to a fantastic race which is happening at the moment, and Danny Stainer in second place, 2 seconds back from the leader Mick Lee in third, and Paul Walters Senior in fourth. No change at that moment in time, and there's actually quite a few couple of interesting battles sort of just developing at this moment in time, something that might thunder into action and actually produce some brilliant racing as well. The number
144, that's Mick Lee in third place, who's having a great battle with Quarters Junior, or Quarters Senior rather, so I'll get it right eventually. But coming over the line with 3 laps left to go, Mick Williams got a 2.9 second lead over Danny Stainer. The battle for third is the one we're looking at, and that's covered by less than half a second between Mick Lee and Quarters Senior. The 144 still ahead of the 25, but coming through turn 1 now, and they are much closer than some were expecting. So through they go, and that's a lot of curb usage then by Mick Lee, who went quite wide coming through turn number 2. That almost let Quarters Junior, or Senior rather, come through. Didn't quite work in the end, so with just 3 laps left to go, he's going to have to make a good move up the inside, maybe turn 5, has a look, can't quite make it again, he's not quite close enough. That's the good thing about being at such a tight circuit, you've got to really think about your manoeuvre around here. They're going to make the move going left at turn number 7, almost got the cutback, didn't quite work I'm afraid, so they're going to have to fight, and with 2 laps left to go now, the leader's romping off away, but it's going to be very close to the battle for third place, certainly. And there we go, a interesting battle still developing. 0.8 seconds. Adrian Ems comes over the line in 5th, 6th place for Quarters Senior. Ibbotson in 7th, 8th for Mark Parker, 9th for John Hosker. And with the battle for third still raging on very nicely indeed, turning through turn number 3. They might seem not as quick as some of the bikes, but these are still very quick machines, hand-built, so a lot of mechanical engineering skill going into it. Is he going to have a look up the inside? Is Quarters Senior. He almost had a look at the inside coming into turn number 5, turn number 6, which is the second left-hander. We've seen that they get a much better exit on the exit of turn 6 to take them through 7 and up twice to right-hander at 8. And Leicester, go on.
Yes, thank you. The enveloping battle for third and fourth, Mick Lee and Paul Walters Senior. Over the line they come, 7/10 in it between them both at the moment, and into turn 1.
1 lap left to go.
They go on the final lap now then, and seemingly Paul Walters Senior can't, although, as I say that, they're right back close with one another, so anything could yet happen on this last lap, Dan.
Of course, we see Mick Williams as well coming through the second last corner for the final time. He's going to take 3 wins out of 3 this weekend. A great performance for Mick Williams and his passenger to take a great victory here ahead of Danny Stainer, but the battle for third is the one we're interested in. Is there going to be a late last move up the inside into turn number 8? He's certainly going to try for it. It's Quarters Senior. He can't quite do it, so he's going to stay in 4th place, a well-deserved 3rd place there for Mick Lee in 144, and Paul Quarters Senior in number 25 takes 4th place ahead of Adrian Ems, Paul Quarters Jr., Simon Ibbotson, Mark Parker and John Hosker. And that brings a close to our racing action here, not just for the F1 sidecars but for the official partner series for the British Superbikes, the Cool Fab Racing here at round 4 Tattershall of the British Mini Bike Championship for 2017. That brings all our action to a close, and well, it's really great to see what's going on, and I think it's been a fantastic weekend's racing. I've thoroughly enjoyed my first experience here of racing.
We're now the official partner series to the BSB. This is Cool Fab Racing.
Thank you very much, and that brings us to the end of the meeting, our first at Tattershall in Lincolnshire. Thank you very much to our standing commentators this weekend. Yesterday it was Kiko Alexander-Giles making his very first ever commentating debut. He did fantastic, and he is a bike fanatic, and don't be surprised if you see him around the paddock or at a BSB event near you soon. And a big thank you to Dan Marr, who dropped everything at the last moment to deputise for our regular commentator Alex Raby, who was taken ill at the very last moment, and we wish you all the very best and to get well soon, Alex. But Dan, you've done a fantastic job as well, and thank you for coming along. And one final thought as well, that we have to give a big thanks and a shout out to the medics who have been keeping everybody safe, to the caterers, to the chefs on site here, and of course to the dads and the marshals, and to the race director Roger and Rob and Valerie Keys, who once again have put on a magnificent show at our first event here at Tattershall in Lincolnshire. Head over to coolfabracing.com, where you will find all the latest news and updates and results from this weekend. All the official final results will be published on there, and also the Facebook group as well, Cool Fab Racing as well. It's the end of the weekend. It's everyone's just wanting to get home because they're a bit tired now. And keep your eyes peeled as well for the videos from the first race yesterday that was filmed. So none of today's races were filmed. They were all filmed during race number 1, and they will be on YouTube, I'm sure, within the week, filmed by TDI Media and Alan Tadii. And also stay tuned for bits of interesting videos and news and previews and reviews from Motorsport Media about what happened this weekend with myself, and also all along motorsport.radio as well. Thank you very much. Have a safe journey, and we'll see you at the next round in a few weeks' time.